Hey guys, Marslingan here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and today we are looking at the team building guide for the Goku family stage of Super Battle Road. This one, just like the Time Travelers one, this is a huge category. I mean, if we scroll down, just look at all the LRs that there are on here. I mean, I started opening up tabs for units that I wanted to talk about, and I think we only got down to like here, and I already realized I had far too many tabs open. So just like all the other videos, we're going to go through some top picks, and then we'll have to very quickly summarize afterwards and maybe have a bit of more of a look down the list, because there are just so many different units to choose from, and it's obviously going to be very dependent on your box and what you have available to you. So like always, if there's units that you think I should have covered or that you want to ask more questions about, feel free to bring that up in the comments section at the end of the video. So obviously we're going to start off with LR Super Saiyan 4 Goku. He is the main Goku family category leader. He's pretty good on Super Battle Road. He raises defense on either of his super attacks, which is makes him a lot better defensively than Vegeta in Super Battle Road. He takes a few turns to build up his defense, but that's fine as long as you get to super attack first. And of course he picks up a ton of extra ki with Rainbow or AGL orbs, so it's very, very easy to get his 18 ki super. And then of course one thing that's really, really good about the Super Saiyan 4s is they get their active skill on turn 4, which is very easy to get to in Super Battle Road, and then you get to do a free massive amount of damage to one of the enemies. And then of course, whilst it can be inconsistent, he does have a 30% chance to counter super attacks as well. So obviously you are going to get those runs where those counters can come in and are obviously incredibly useful. So next up, the only other big Goku family leader we have is the Gobros. Talked about them a little bit in the Movie Heroes video, but they are a fairly solid unit. They do need to attack a bunch of times in order to be really good defensively, but with a defensive item active, they're obviously not going to be too much of a slouch in the defense department. And if you do manage to get to the 50% or less HP and only one enemy remaining, then obviously they have an active skill that can do a bunch of extra free damage as well. So not much else to say about them. We talked about them in a bit more detail in the Movie Heroes video, but they are going to essentially be your best leader if you don't have the LR Super Saiyan 4 Goku at this point. So there's also this guy, the Agl Super Saiyan 2 Angel Goku. He is a Goku family 130 leader after his EZA, so he can be a decent enough stand-in. He raises attack and defense on super, changes STR orbs to AGL. He gives you quite a lot of healing as well, 10k HP per ki sphere obtained, as well as getting defense and attack as well. He has the nuking style passive. He also gets an additional attack and defense plus 5% per ki sphere obtained when there is a Vegeta family enemy. And if we look at the Goku family for Super Battle Road, it is all Vegeta family enemies. So that's obviously going to be something that activates for him pretty much all the time. So, and then of course you saw him there. Moving on, we have the Zeno Goku from the previous Heroes banner. You might have been lucky enough to pull him unfeatured from this most recent one, but he is a Goku family lead 90%. Obviously that's not great in terms of the leader skill, but he's a good unit to bring on the team anyway, because he does provide 2 ki and 30% support to all Goku family allies. He's not a Super Saiyan, but other than that he does have links that are very good across the spectrum for this Goku family team, other than probably Patrol. It's kind of a random one for him to have, but obviously he just has that because he's the Zeno Goku. So for this team in particular, it's not the best link, but he's going to be a very good support unit. Plus he's a uniquely named Goku, so he's not fighting for a spot against anyone else on that team. So moving on, we have the Agl Lr Gohan. Now obviously with Goku family, a lot of the units on that team are in the Kamehameha category. So if you don't have LR Goku or the Gobros, or even if you do, you can run a Kamehameha team by bringing double Gohans. Because, like I say, most of the units on Kamehameha are on Goku family anyway, aside from some of the fusions and 1 or 2 units here or there. So this can be a very solid option as well. Gohan is pretty good defensively in Super Battle Road. Obviously we learned the hard way that in Extreme Super Battle Road he's not quite as good as we thought, but in the previous versions of like category Super Battle Road, he still is very good defensively, especially with an item active. He's going to be tanking very well, especially after super attacking as well. Obviously, you're probably never going to see his transformation, because even in longer events, it's hard to see his transformation sometimes, but fortunately, he is good enough untransformed to still be a very solid option for Super Battle Road. So then, of course, we have the new LR Gohan, the Tech Super Saiyan 2. Again, talked about him in more detail in the Movie Heroes video, but he is a very solid unit for Super Battle Road in terms of damage output. Like, this guy can easily hit like 4 or 5 million attack stats on turn 1. So on Super Battle Road, especially with multiple enemies, you can target the weaker enemy perhaps with him, and he's going to do a ridiculous amount of damage, especially if he gets the additional super from his passive, and then if you do have dupes or skill orbs into him, he can potentially super attack 3 times in 1 turn, which not only means he's going to do a lot of damage, but he raises defense on either version of his super attack. So if he does super attack 3 times, even with an item not active, he's pretty much going to be untouchable except by super attacks. So he is a very strong option as well, and the fact that he gets extra key per orb, you don't really have to worry about him too much with the links. So then we go on to the Tech LR Super Saiyan Goku. Now, the reason why I've included him here is because in the data download that we got earlier, well, I guess I'm recording all of these on the day that we found out that Super Battle Road was coming, but I don't know when this one's going to go up. But the EZA medals for Goku were in that data download, so as part of this Christmas Part 2 celebration, we should be getting his Extreme Z area. So obviously, if you want to wait and Extreme Z awaken him first, you can then bring him along onto this event, and he is very, very good. He has a very decent level of stats, even though he only gets 59% defense. He gets key 3 and an additional 59% defense as the first attacker in the turn. So I believe that procs when it is his time to attack though. So any attacks in slot 1 before he attacks are potentially still going to do more damage. Well, they are going to do more damage, but they're potentially going to do a fair bit more damage that you might maybe want to have an item active. Then he also gets an additional attack 59% when performing an Ultra Super, and all allies Q +3 when attacking extreme class enemies. Unfortunately, there aren't extreme class enemies in this one, I don't think, because they're all Vegeta family, but they're all newer versions of him that are not extreme. I guess stage 1 you have the extreme enemies, but other than that, he's not going to be getting that part of his passive. But he's a very solid unit. He greatly raises attack and defense for 1 turn on his 12 key super, so that's going to help him tank as well. And then he raises allies attack by 30%, as well as giving them a chance to get 10% crit when doing his 18 key super. So if you put him in slot 1 and get his 18 key super, he can tank reasonably well, do a lot of damage, and then raise everybody else's attack as well. So he can be an option, although you will of course have to do the Extreme Z area and everything before you then come on to do this Super Battle Road stage. So then we have the Int Super Saiyan God Goku. He's really good. He was one of the key players for doing the No Item Realm of Gods, because he has the built-in 50% chance to dodge for the first 7 turns, and you're unlikely to go beyond 7 turns with this guy in Super Battle Road. So he raises defense greatly on either of his super attacks, so that's really good. Obviously on the 18 key it stacks for multiple turns, so he can build up his defense to be quite high. And then of course his passive, to be fully maxed out, you need to have a full team of Pure Saiyans or Hybrid Saiyans, which of course, since we're running a Goku family team, is basically going to be everyone that you can bring. I think like the versions of Chi-Chi are on here, or at least the adult ones are, but you're probably not going to be bringing her anyway. Plus, I guess we could have mentioned him as a stand-in leader, because his leader skill is Pure Saiyans or Hybrid Saiyans, key 4 and then 130 to stats, so you can obviously make a full team for this stage out of that leader skill. So he's pretty good. He also has the built-in crit chance as well as the dodge. So even with no dupes, this guy can crit and potentially do quite a lot of damage. So he's really good as well. Then we go on to UI Goku. We talked about him in the Reps of Universe 7 video, so I don't want to go on too much about him here. Obviously, he's really good because for the first few turns, he's going to have a 70% chance to dodge, build up all of those stats, and then hit incredibly hard. So not really much else extra we need to say about him. Check out the Reps of Universe 7 video if you want a little bit more detail. But I'm sure at this point most of you guys know just how good this guy is in Super Battle Road. So then we have B-Pan. So B-Pan is a very good option for this team. She is a free-to-play unit, but she is very, very good. She recovers 33% of damage dealt as HP, which in Super Battle Road it's always nice to have some free healing. She also has a high chance of reducing damage received by 55%. When this goes off, she basically takes no damage aside from super attacks, even with no items active, so that is really good. She does also have the chance to stun on either of her super attacks, which is really, really useful in Super Battle Road. She also super attacks early, so her 12 key super you actually get it at 9, and then her 18 key you can get it at 15, so a lot easier to get that with her. And then she has her active skill that you can use on the 3rd turn. This is one of the main reasons that you'll bring her probably. Like every time she comes around on the 3rd turn, or at least the first time she appears after that, and her active skill is available, you should just be using it straight away in this mode. And then give yourself a huge attack boost and deal out a ton of damage and potentially finish off all of the enemies in that turn. So she's very, very good for that. She has a lot of utility that she brings. That active skill, tanking, stunning, and healing for free with her attacks as well. So I feel like she is one of the must-bring units on this team. So then we have this Gohan. Again, I guess you could use him as a stand-in leader if you've Easy Aid him, because he has a 120 to all types. He's really good for this team if you have Easy Aid him already, because as long as you have a Goku on the same turn, he has massive damage reduction, as well as having really high stats overall. So this guy was an MVP in the Super Physical Extreme Super Battle Road No Items run. You just need to run this guy on rotation with a Goku, and then he can just tank everything that comes his way. And you don't need to worry about him taking damage, even from a super attack. Like in Extreme Super Battle Road, he wasn't taking that much damage from a super attack. So in the normal category Super Battle Road stage, he will be absolutely fine. He also has a chance to stun on his 12 key if you want to deliberately try and get the 12 key and go for the stun chance. It is only 30%, but that can be very useful as well. So then we have the Tech Gohan. So the first non-LR card. But I mean, he's almost up there in power level, isn't he? He's that good. So obviously, very, very good tank. If he gets hit first, he can hit incredibly hard. And then once he's got like a couple of super attacks off, he just basically takes no damage. And then if you do get to that 5th fight, because all of these fights on this stage are 2 enemies, so they do have quite a lot of HP. But if you get to that 5th fight, he can transform into Ultimate Gohan, and then it really is all over from there. Insanely high attack and defense, guards. Once he gets hit once, that part of his passive is active for the whole of the rest of the fight. So he's just insanely good. Then we have the Raditz. So remember, this is the Goku family stage, so we're not restricted to only super type units. Now, that does mean he won't link as well. He still has links like Saiyan Warrior Race, Prepared for Battle, Fist Battle, Saiyan Lineage that are super type links as well. But he's really good in Super Battle Road because when you're facing multiple enemies, not only does he have 50% damage reduction, but he has a 100% chance to stun the enemy that he attacks for that turn. And then obviously on Super, he has a chance to stun as well. So you can get the stun go off of the super attack and actually stun them for 2 turns. But even if that stun doesn't trigger, he's guaranteed to stun the person he attacks for that turn. So if you put him in slot 1, you can attack someone who's attacking you a lot in slot 2 or 3, and then that's them wiped out for the turn. They can't attack you. So I think he's a really good option, even though he's going to end up being the only extreme unit on the team. But he's very good. He's not going to get this last part of his passive active at any point, but he is a very solid defensive option, which Super Battle Road is really all about, especially if you are struggling or have a slightly weaker box. I think this guy is a very, very good option to bring. Because obviously, if you just use items, if you just chuck out defensive items constantly, you can easily brute force through this stage if you have a team of like all the LRs and stuff. But this guy, obviously, the more defensive option. Then we have the free-to-play Super Saiyan Goku and Gohan card. They are a Goku family support unit, which is one of the main reasons why I included them. Because they are a unit that can become very good defensively once they've super attacked multiple times. But even here, they are going to get at least one defensive raise off, because you're probably going to use them in the third slot. But they also lower attack on their super, so you can have them target the person who's potentially going to be attacking them. So that helps them take even less damage. And they'll be very good in terms of providing support, while also not being too much of a liability that then they get you killed. Although obviously, if they take a super attack, they will be taking quite a lot of damage. And then of course, no one really ever does it in the long form events because of the infinite stacking. But when you get to turn 3, you could choose to switch them over into the Gohan mode. And then you do lose the support, but they just become a much harder hitting unit, as well as still lowering the attack of the enemy. So they can be pretty good. One of the Vegetas that you fight, I think in the second fight, is an Android Cell Saga one. So he would get the high chance of performing a crit. But I think your best bet is probably leaving them unexchanged and using them as support. And then the final one I picked out here, before I realised just how many tabs that we had open, was this Int Super Saiyan 2 Agl Goku. Obviously, if you bring him, you can't bring the AGL one. But he is very, very good. Because all the fights have the 2 enemies, if you focus on getting rid of one of them, you're probably easily going to be at the 3rd turn or later from that point. And then he will transform into the Super Saiyan 3 Agl Goku. If you can pick up 6 orbs, then he has a built-in chance to dodge, as well as being types effective against all types. So he is a very, very strong option. You do kind of need to have an over and a flash link partner if you do choose to bring him, but a couple of the LRs that we talked about already have that covered. So at this point, I realized just how many tabs we had open, so stopped opening whole new ones. But if we go back over these here, obviously Bardock is a good choice. If you're bringing a ton of AGL units, then Pan would be a good choice for a support unit as well. Let's see who else we got. Marseille, unfortunately, before his EZA, not very good on Super Battle Road. We have this guy again. If you're bringing a lot of Int units, this Gohan can be good for support. Future Gohan is okay, although he's built around having like a Future Trunks on the team, which obviously you can't do here. The OG UI Goku, if you don't have the LR, is pretty decent. This guy, we should have mentioned this guy actually. He should have had his own section. This guy is one of the best super type support units in the game after his awakening, because he provides 2 key 30% attack and defense to everybody else, and including himself, plus his own 58% defense, and then he reduces damage received by 58%. So honestly, this guy, you could just run him on main rotation. He's good enough that he doesn't have to just be a support unit. And because some units like the Tech Gohan don't have the best links, you could run these 2 as a rotation, and then thanks to this guy's support, he's providing extra ki to make up for some of those link issues. So this guy should have opened a tab for him for sure. I feel like he is an auto-include on the team. He's a unit, I've been link leveling him. He, like I say, I think is one of the best super type support units in the whole game. So definitely worth bringing him along. Of course, this is going to take ages to load now. But so where did we get to? We got to him. Zeno Goku is good for defense, but only if you have other heroes units on the team. So not that great. This Gohan is okay. If you've got a lot of Majin Buu Saga and units on the team, he's pretty good. Blue Kaioken obviously goes well with the LR UI. Who else is here that we can talk about? Goten's still pretty good. Rainbow Orb Changer. This Gohan, again, if you've got a lot of 50% physical units, he's the 50% support. The Nuka Goku we talked about in Movie Heroes is really good. The Super Kaioken Goku is okay. And then the Stunner Goku that, again, we talked about in Movie Heroes. So there's a lot of units on this team. Obviously, we can't go over all of them just because of how many there are. So I definitely expect to see some comments for this video about units that we maybe didn't talk about. But that's kind of the point of these guides. I try and go over as many of the top picks and honourable mentions as I can. And then you guys can feel free to ask any further questions or any more advice in the comment section down below. So I look forward to seeing your guys' opinions and what teams that you're going to run as well. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Master Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the link to my Discord in the description. We got a team building section over there as well. And I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.